Belief is the birthplace of every transformation. Nothing in your life changes until something in your mind changes first. The most powerful force you possess is not your strength, not your background, not your resources, not your education. It is your ability to believe. Belief is the unseen architect of destiny. It designs your tomorrow long before tomorrow arrives. If you can will your mind to believe, your life will begin to transform in ways you once called impossible. Every transformation begins with one invisible shift inside you, a shift so small that no one else notices it at first, but so powerful that the entire trajectory of your life begins to change. It is the shift when belief becomes permission. Permission to rise, permission to dream again, permission to break the limits you once accepted, permission to step into your true identity. Your mind has been waiting for that permission. Your spirit has been waiting for it. Your future has been waiting for it. When you will your mind to believe, you give yourself the authority to rewrite the script of your life. You are no longer controlled by old narratives, old wounds, old voices, or old failures. You stop identifying yourself by the mistakes of yesterday and start identifying yourself by the possibilities of tomorrow. This is what makes belief so powerful. It gives you a new lens to interpret your own life. Your past no longer becomes a prism. Your obstacles no longer become barriers. They become stepping stones. Your challenges no longer become reasons to quit. They become reasons to grow stronger. You were never meant to live in the shadows of doubt. You were never designed to shrink yourself so others could be comfortable. You were never created to let fear dictate the boundaries of your existence. There is something in you that refuses to settle, something in you that hungers for growth, something in you that knows you are capable of more. That something is your true self, your deeper self, the self that belief awakens. Many people live their entire lives without discovering that version of themselves. They remain trapped in cycles of hesitation, procrastination, insecurity, and fear because they never learned how to command their mind. They wait for confidence to appear, not realizing that confidence is born from belief. They wait for motivation to arrive, not realizing that motivation grows from momentum. They wait for the right moment, not realizing that the right moment is created, not found. The moment you decide to believe, everything changes, not because the world becomes easier, but because you become stronger, not because the path becomes smooth, because you develop the resilience to endure rough terrain, not because challenges disappear, but because you stop interpreting them as threats and start seeing them as invitations to step into your potential. There is greatness in you that will never emerge until your belief calls it forth. Greatness does not respond to doubt. It responds to conviction. Greatness does not answer insecurity, it answers confidence. Greatness does not rise in an environment of fear, it rises in an atmosphere of belief. Your mind is the birthplace of this atmosphere. What you meditate on becomes what you manifest. What you focus on becomes what you move toward. If your mind is filled with fear-based thinking, your life will reflect fear-based results. If your mind is filled with faith-based thinking, your life will reflect faith-based transformation. You cannot build a powerful life with powerless thoughts. You cannot create a thriving future with a defeated mindset. You cannot step into your destiny while holding on to beliefs that contradict it. This is why the mind must be renewed, reshaped, restructured, realigned with purpose. Transformation requires mental construction. Your belief is the blueprint. Your discipline is the foundation. Your actions are the bricks. Every time you choose to think differently, you build a new layer of your future. Every time you replace doubt with confidence, you strengthen the walls of your identity. Every time you silence the voice of fear and amplify the voice of faith, you raise the ceiling of your potential. Your life will begin to transform when your mind begins to align with who you truly are. And who you are is not average, not accidental, not insignificant. You are a carrier of potential, a vessel of purpose, a being created with intention. There is nothing ordinary about you, not your design, not your gifts, not your capacity. But extraordinary lives belong only to those who believe they are capable of extraordinary things. Do not underestimate the power of your thoughts. The mind can imprison you or liberate you. It can hold you hostage to your history or release you into your destiny. It can shrink your world or expand it. The quality of your belief determines the quality of your life. When you will your mind to believe, you take control of that power. You reclaim your influence over your own destiny. You stop responding to life as a victim and begin responding as a visionary. You stop living by default and begin living by design. Belief makes you intentional. It makes you purposeful. It makes you deliberate. You begin to live with focus. You begin to walk with clarity. You begin to move with conviction. And soon your life begins to reflect what your mind has already accepted as truth. This is why protecting your belief is essential. You must guard it from people who cannot see what you see. You must shield it from environments that suffocate your potential. You must defend it from voices that try to convince you to lower your ambition, shrink your vision, or abandon your dream. Not everyone will understand your belief because not everyone is meant to carry your destiny, and that is perfectly fine. Your belief does not need universal approval to be valid. It needs internal commitment. It needs personal conviction. It needs the courage to stand even when it stands alone. Every great transformation begins in isolation. Every visionary spends time walking the path of belief before anyone else joins them on the journey. Do not be discouraged if your belief makes you feel separated for a season. That separation is preparation. That isolation is incubation. That inner work is building the strength you will need when your dream begins to manifest. And when it does begin to manifest, when all the hidden work finally becomes visible, when all the quiet battles finally turn into public victories, people will call you lucky, gifted, or blessed. But you will know the truth. It was belief that opened the door. It was belief that sustained you. It was belief that birthed the transformation. Belief is more than a thought. It is a posture. It is a stance. It is the way you face. It is the way you respond to adversity. It is the way you navigate uncertainty. When you face a challenge, belief says, there is a way. When you encounter fear, belief says, I can handle this. When you experience failure, belief says, this is not the end. When the future looks unclear, belief says, something great is unfolding. Your life begins to transform when you adopt that posture. When belief becomes your default, not your exception. When belief becomes your standard, not your struggle. When belief becomes the language of your mind and the rhythm of your actions. What you believe about yourself will determine everything you attempt, everything you pursue, everything you overcome, and everything you achieve. If you believe you are capable, you will find a way. If you believe you are worthy, you will stop settling. If you believe you are strong, you will rise after every setback. If you believe your future is meaningful, you will fight for it with everything within you. Your belief is the prophecy of your future. Your thoughts are the seeds of your destiny. It is the workshop where your life is built. Will your mind to believe, and your life will begin to unfold according to what you have planted within it. There comes a moment in every person's life when they must choose whether they will be shaped by the limitations around them or by the possibilities within them. That moment is not marked on any calendar. It does not announce itself with fanfare. It arrives quietly, often disguised as a challenge, a disappointment, a crossroads, or a longing that refuses to leave your heart. And in that moment, belief becomes the defining factor that determines which path you take. When you will your mind to believe, you shift from waiting for life to happen to you to deciding what you will make happen through you. You begin to understand that your mind is not just a container of thoughts. It is the engine of your future. It is the manufacturing plant of your destiny. It produces direction, decisions, habits, and ultimately outcomes. And once you realize this, you stop treating your thoughts casually. You begin to take responsibility for the world you allow inside your mind. If you allow fear to dominate your thinking, your life will reflect fear. If you allow doubt to nest in your thoughts, your actions will hesitate. If you entertain negative voices, your confidence would collapse under the weight of their words. But when you choose to believe intentionally, passionately, persistently, your mind becomes a fortress of strength, a wellspring of courage, a birthplace of transformation. Belief is not a feeling, it is a decision. Feelings fluctuate. Belief anchors you. Feelings are fragile. Belief is resilient. Feelings can mislead you. Belief guides you. That is why you must choose belief even when your emotions are uncertain, even when your circumstances contradict your vision, even when your environment does not reflect your expectation. The power of belief is that it sees beyond what is visible and holds onto what is possible. The greatest transformations occur not when conditions are perfect, but when belief remains steady despite imperfection. Anyone can believe when everything is going well, but true transformation is born in the moments when belief stands tall in the face of adversity. When life pushes against you, belief pushes back harder. When circumstances say impossible, belief whispers, try again. When you stumble, belief extends its hand and lifts you to your feet. There are versions of you that you have not yet met, stronger versions, wiser versions, more courageous versions, more disciplined, more focused, more capable, more purpose-driven versions. And the bridge to every one of those versions is belief. When you will your mind to believe, you open the door to the next level of your potential. You awaken the qualities that were resting inside you, waiting for the signal to rise. You must decide that your belief will be stronger than the doubts of others, stronger than the memories of your past, stronger than the fear of failure, stronger than the temptation to settle. Your belief must become a declaration, a commitment you make to yourself. A declaration that says, I will not shrink. I will not surrender. I will not abandon the vision planted in my heart. I will think in alignment with the future I desire, not the past I survived. Every transformation begins with this internal declaration. And once it is made, your life begins to reorganize itself around it. Opportunities that were invisible begin to appear. Strengths you forgot you had begin to reawaken. People who align with your purpose begin to enter your life. Your mind starts filtering out distractions, and your spirit becomes attuned to direction. You start to become intentional about how you spend your time. You begin to recognize the value of discipline. You develop the courage to say no to what drains you so you can say yes to what grows you. You stop entertaining conversations that limit your vision. You stop tolerating habits that sabotage your progress. You stop accepting environments that suffocate your potential. All of this begins with belief. Belief changes what you pursue. Belief changes what you tolerate. Belief changes how you show up. Belief changes what you expect from yourself and from life, and expectation shapes reality. There is a force inside you that becomes activated the moment your mind commits to belief. That force is determination. Once belief awakens determination, momentum is inevitable. And once momentum begins, transformation becomes unstoppable. You begin to experience the compounding effect of your own growth. Small steps become meaningful progress. Daily discipline becomes internal strength. Mindset shifts become new standards. And before long, your entire life begins to reflect the inner work you have done. The mind is like a compass. Where it points, your life follows. If your mind points toward limitation, you will always find reasons to settle. But if your mind points toward possibility, you will always find pathways forward. You cannot control every event that happens to you, but you can control the direction of your thoughts. And the direction of your thoughts will determine the direction of your life. Every champion is made in the mind before they ever become one in the world. Every leader thinks differently before they lead differently. Every visionary imagines differently before they build differently. Their greatness began as a thought, a belief, a conviction they refused to release even when others ignored, criticized, or mocked it. Your belief is your internal compass. It does not need external validation to be accurate. It does not need universal approval to be powerful. All it needs is your commitment to follow where it leads. What you think about consistently, you become. What you believe deeply, you manifest. What you expect boldly, you attract. This is why you must elevate your thinking if you want to elevate your life. You must stop thinking like the person you are and start thinking like the person you are becoming. Do not let your mind recycle old fears when your future is waiting for new faith. Do not let your thoughts rehearse past failures when your destiny is calling for fresh courage. Do not let your imagination be dominated by worst-case scenarios when greatness requires you to visualize best-case outcomes. What you dwell on becomes your dwelling place. If you dwell on problems, you will live in stress. If you dwell on possibilities, you will live in purpose. If you dwell on weakness, you will live in insecurity. If you dwell on growth, you will live in transformation. Belief teaches your mind where to dwell. When you will your mind to believe, you stop waiting for signs and begin creating them. You stop seeking permission and start giving yourself permission. You stop fearing failure and start embracing progress. You stop questioning your worth and start recognizing your potential. You begin to speak differently. You begin to walk differently. You begin to make decisions that reflect the future you desire rather than the past you escaped. You begin to stand taller, not because life gets easier, but because you become stronger. The transformation you are seeking is not hiding from you. It is waiting for you to align your thinking with your destiny. It is waiting for you to decide that you are worthy of growth, worthy of change, worthy of elevation. It is waiting for you to stop doubting what is possible for you and start believing that you were created for more. Your mind is the gateway. Your belief is the key. And once you turn that key, your life begins to expand in ways you once thought belonged only to other people. But the truth is, greatness was always meant for you. It was simply waiting for the moment you believed it. There is a point you reach in your journey where belief stops being something you practice occasionally and becomes the very atmosphere you breathe. It becomes the lens through which you view every opportunity, every challenge, every conversation, every decision. Belief becomes your internal language, the quiet voice narrating your path, reminding you that you are capable, reminding you that your purpose is valid, reminding you that your future is still unfolding even when your present feels uncertain. And when belief becomes part of your inner fabric, the transformation you experience becomes not just visible, it becomes undeniable. You begin to notice that the limitations that once intimidated you no longer carry the same weight. The fears that once paralyzed you no longer have the same grip. The doubts that once whispered lies in your ear no longer influence your direction. Because belief does not simply change what you think, it changes who you are becoming. The more you believe, the more you grow into the person you were always meant to be. You start to walk with a different posture. Not arrogance, not pride, but quiet confidence. A confidence born not from external praise, but from internal alignment. A confidence built not on what the world says about you, but on what you have chosen to believe about yourself. Belief teaches you to stand tall even when your circumstances try to pull you down. It teaches you to rise even when discouragement tries to bury you. It teaches you to persist even when progress feels slow. And as your belief deepens, something incredible happens. Your mind begins to imagine again. Many people stop imagining because life taught them to play small, to expect less, to settle for what is customary. But belief reignites imagination. It brings your creativity back to life. It awakens dreams that you buried under disappointment. It opens your eyes to futures you never allowed yourself to consider. You begin to see possibilities where others see obstacles, open doors where others see dead ends, opportunities where others see limitations. This is the real power of belief. It restores your vision. And once your vision is restored, you no longer navigate life based on where you've been. You navigate based on where you're going. Your steps become intentional. Your actions become aligned. Your habits become purposeful. Your energy becomes focused. Your entire being begins to shift toward the direction of your vision. Every transformation begins with vision. And every vision is sustained through belief. Without belief, Vision collapses under pressure. Without belief, dreams shrink under the weight of reality. Without belief, purpose becomes fragile. But when belief stands behind your vision, the impossible becomes achievable. When belief fuels your dreams, the improbable becomes inevitable. You must understand that belief does not guarantee an easy path, does not promise a life without challenges. On the contrary, belief guarantees that challenges will come, but it also guarantees that you will rise above them. It gives you the resilience to endure hardship, the strength to push through adversity, the courage to keep going when everything in you wants to quit. Belief does not remove mountains, it teaches you how to climb them. And as you climb, you develop qualities that cannot be learned in comfort: perseverance, discipline, patience, emotional strength, mental clarity, spiritual grounding. Belief does not just transform your circumstances, it transforms your character. It shapes you into someone who can carry the blessings you've been praying for, someone who can handle the responsibility that comes with success, someone who will not collapse under the weight of their own potential. Because success without inner transformation becomes a burden. But success built on belief becomes a blessing. When you grow into the person your destiny demands, you no longer fear elevation. You are prepared for it. You are ready to sustain it. You are ready to multiply it. This is why belief is necessary. It prepares you for the life you are building. There will be moments in your journey when belief will be the only thing you have left. Moments when support disappears, when progress slows, when the outcome is uncertain, when the path ahead looks foggy. In those moments, belief becomes your anchor. It keeps you grounded. It becomes your fuel. It keeps you moving. It becomes your compass. It keeps you pointed in the right direction. You must learn to trust your belief even when nothing around you looks like what you're expecting. Your belief is not based on what you see. It is based on what you know deep within yourself. It is based on the conviction that your life has meaning, that your dreams have value, that your purpose has weight, that your existence is not an accident, that something greater is unfolding even when the evidence is still invisible. Self-doubt, on the other hand, tries to blind you. It tells you to settle for less. It tells you to dim your light. It tells you that your dream is unrealistic, or your past disqualifies you, or your mistakes define you. But belief silences those lies. Belief reminds you that your past is not your identity. Your mistakes are not your limit. Your failures are not your name. Belief frees you from the prison of your own thoughts. You must choose daily which voice you will listen to, the voice of doubt or the voice of belief. One will shrink your life, the other will expand it. One will imprison you, the other will release you. One will settle you, the other will elevate you. The world is shaped by people who believe in something bigger than the obstacles in front of them. Everything extraordinary you see around you, every invention, every breakthrough, every movement, every piece of progress exists because someone believed first. Belief is the birthplace of creation. It is the spark that lights the fire of human potential. It is the force that turns ideas into reality and dreams into history. And the same force lives inside you. It has always been there, waiting for activation. Every time you choose belief over fear, you strengthen it. Every time you choose hope over doubt, you feed it. Every time you choose persistence over quitting, you grow it. And the stronger it becomes, the more unstoppable you become. Transformation is not a single moment. It is a continuous unfolding of belief expressed through your daily decisions. It is belief applied again and again until your life begins to mirror the vision you hold in your heart. It is belief speaking through your choices, belief shaping your character, belief guiding your actions, belief elevating your standards, belief aligning your destiny. You must remind your mind daily who you are becoming. You must speak to your thoughts as if they are listening, because they are. You must train your mind like an athlete trains their body, with discipline, with consistency, with intention. You must choose thoughts that empower you, thoughts that strengthen you, thoughts that lift you, thoughts that align with the future you are building. And as you continue this practice, belief becomes easier. It becomes natural. It becomes part of your identity. You no longer have to force yourself to believe. You simply are someone who believes. And that is when transformation becomes permanent. That is when the shift within you becomes the new normal. That is when the life you once dreamed about begins to unfold before your eyes. You are capable of extraordinary transformation. It begins the moment your mind accepts that it is possible. It grows the moment you commit to believing daily. And it becomes unstoppable the moment belief becomes the foundation of your identity. Here is a powerful conclusion for the speech written in the same deep, inspiring philosophical style. Strong, emotion impactful. 2. Your transformation begins the moment you dare to believe that you were created for more than the limits you've known. The moment you choose belief over fear, purpose over comfort, growth over hesitation, everything in your life begins to shift. You have the power to rewrite your story, to rise from anything that tried to break you, to step into a future far greater than your past. But it all begins in one place, your mind. Will your mind to believe? Believe in your strength. Believe in your calling. Believe in your value. Believe in the greatness planted within you. And when you do, life will open its doors. Opportunities will find you. Purpose will guide you. Transformation will shape you. And your future will become a living testimony that nothing is impossible for the one who refuses to stop believing.